Welcome to last module of this paper. The last topic is Pell's equation. The Pell's equation is one of the famous Diophantine equation in two variables. This equation known to mathematicians for more than 2000 years. Now the Pell's equation has a long history involving Greeks, Indians, English mathematicians, French mathematicians, etc. Brahmagupta, an Indian mathematician, posed a challenge. A person who can in a year solves the equation x square minus 92y square equal to 1 is a mathematician. There is a book written on Pell's equation. Now we are going to see what is a Pell's equation and various problems which led to Pell's equation.
Silence. Roll.
The topic of this module is Pell's equation. The learning objectives of this module are introduction and importance of Pell's equation, properties of solutions of Pell's equation. If number theory is queen of mathematics, then Pell's equation must be most important piece of jewelry of this queen. An algebraic expression is a carrier of information. Sometimes it is easy to extract the information from the form of the expression. Sometimes the information is latent. Pell's equation is one such equation as it has habit of popping up in a variety of surprising settings. This very simple Diophantine equation seems to have been known to mathematicians for over 2000 years. A Pell's equation is an equation of the form x square minus dy square is equal to 1, where d belongs to z and is not a perfect square, where d is not a perfect square. The equation is named after English mathematician John Pell, who period is 1610 to 1685, who had nothing to do with this equation. In fact, William Broncker 1620 to 1684 came up with a solution method, but Euler mistakenly credited Pell for this. Broncker's method is in the substance identical to method known to Indian mathematicians at least 6 centuries earlier. The Greeks were fascinated in solving x square minus 2y square equal to 1 because of its strong connection to approximation of root 2, but there is no evidence that they were able to solve it. It is believed that this equation was first studied by Indian mathematician Brahmagupta, who devised a method called Chakravala method to solve Pell's equation. It is also known that Bhaskara studied Pell's equation for the values d equal to 8, 11, 32, 61 and 67. Further, he provided a fundamental solution as for the equation x square minus 61 y square equal to 1. You can see that the values of x and y are very big. So, this is the fundamental solution is the smallest solution. Smallest solution is very big. So, that shows that Pell's equation is very difficult to solve. Now, we are going to see few problems which leads to Pell's equation. The first problem in this direction is, can a triangle number be a square? You will see that in the module, in the first chapter we discussed triangle numbers and square numbers. In general, we discussed polygonal numbers. Triangle numbers are numbers of the form n into n plus 1 by 2. Squares are of the form just m square. Now, when a number is both a triangle number as well as a square. Now, we will see how this problem led to Pell's equation. Suppose there exists a triangular number, say P3 of A is equal to B square for some B belongs to n. Then P3 of A, that is a triangular number which is equal to A into A plus 1 by 2, which is equal to B square, or equivalently this can be written as A square plus A equal to 2B square, which in turn equivalent to 2A plus 1 whole square is equal to 4A square plus 4A plus 1, which is equal to 8B square plus 1. That means by simplifying a square plus a equal to 2b square, we can write it as 2a plus 1 whole square equal to 8b square plus 1, or 8b square plus 1 can also written as 2 into 2b square plus 1. Hence, we are looking for the solutions of x square minus 2y square equal to 1, where x equal to 2a plus 1 and y equal to 2b. That means, in order to find which triangle numbers are square, we end up with equation x square minus 2y square equal to 1, a Pell's equation. Now, another problem which leads to Pell's equation is finding primitive Pythagorean triples whose legs differ by 1. Let xyz be a primitive Pythagorean triple, then we know that x value is equal to 2mn, y equal to m square minus n square for some m comma n belongs to n, with GCD of m comma n equal to 1 and m is greater than n, and m and n have different parities. That means, both are even or both are odd. By hypothesis, what we have to see is m square minus n square minus 2mn is equal to plus or minus 1, which can be written as m minus n whole square minus 2n square equal to plus or minus 1. Note that this is analogous to Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. Of course, here differ by 1, so plus or minus 1, where x equal to m minus n, y is equal to n and d is equal to 2. So, this equation also primitive Pythagoras triples with legs differ by 1 also leads to a Pell's equation. Now, another problem which leads to Pell's equation is an integer 10 has a intriguing property, nice property, that is namely 1 less than the number is a square, 10 minus 1 is 9, that is equal to 3 square. Not only that, 1 less than half of the number is also a square, that is 10 by 2 minus 1 is 4, it is equal to 2 square. Now, the question is, what are other numbers? The next number with the same property is 290. 290 minus 1 is 17 square and 290 by 2 minus 1 is 12 square. Now, the question is, are there other such numbers? If yes, how can we find them? The solution: to discover this, let r be such number, then r minus 1 is x square, r by 2 minus 1 is y square for some positive integers x and y. Eliminating r between the equations yields the Diophantine equation x square minus 2y square equal to 1. So, look at this is a very different problem, but finally we ends up with Pell's equation. Similar to another problem is, it is easy to check that finding positive integers satisfying a square plus a plus 1 whole square equal to b square plus b plus 1 whole square plus b plus 2 whole square is same as finding x comma y in the natural numbers n cross n satisfying x square minus 6y square equal to 3 that are different from 3 comma 1. So, like that various problems which are going to give either Pell's equation or Pell type equations. Now, we are going to see few comments on the solutions of the Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. First, note that if d equal to 0, then x square minus dy square becomes x square equal to 1. So, in that case y can take any value, but x equal to plus or minus 1. So, the only solutions are whenever d equal to 0 are plus or minus 1 comma y with y belongs to z. So, there are infinite number of solutions, as y we can vary. When if d is less than or equal to minus 2, then only solutions for the Pell's equation are minus 1 comma 0 and 1 comma 0. In general, if d is negative, then the equation x square minus dy square equal to n for some n belongs to n can have only finitely many solutions, as x square has to be less than n and y square is less than minus n by d. If d equal to minus 1, then the equation x square minus dy square equal to 1 reduces to x square plus y square equal to 1. In this case, the integer solutions are 0 plus or minus 1 and minus plus or minus 1 comma 0. if d equal to n square, then the equation x square minus dy square equal to 1 reduces to x square minus n square y square equal to 1, or equivalently it can be written as x plus ny into x minus ny is equal to 1. Thus, x minus ny is equal to x plus ny is equal to plus or minus 1. Hence, the solutions are plus or minus 1 comma 0. So, in all these cases we got a trivial solutions. So, that is why we are looking for a particular d. Before that, if you fix m belongs to z and if you take d equal to m square plus 1, then Diophantine provided an integral solution to x square minus dy square equal to 1 as 2m square plus 1 comma 2m. In general, if y not equal to 0, then the equation reduces to x square by y square is equal to d plus 1 by y square. Consequently, for large y, root d can be approximated by x by y. This is a nice phenomenon of this Pell's equation. Another way to look Pell's equation, the Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1 can be written as x square is equal to 1 plus dy square. We divided throughout by y square, then we got like that. If xy is a solution with y not equal to 0, then x plus or minus y and plus or minus x comma y are also solutions. Thus, non-trivial solution always occurs in quadruples, means once one solution exists, then automatically 4 solutions will be there. So, we can always assume that x and y are positive. Once x square minus dy square equal to 1 has a solution, of course other than plus or minus 1 comma 0, then it has infinite number of solutions. As every solution x naught y naught gives rise to other solutions, that is one has 1 square equal to x naught square minus d y naught square whole square is equal to x naught square plus d y naught square whole square minus d times 2 x naught y naught square. Thus, x naught square plus dy naught square comma 2 x naught y naught is also a solution, and this process can be continued. So, we are going to define norm on z of root d. This is similar to the way we define norm in the Gaussian integers. So, that is why we are generalizing norm defined in Gaussian integers to the set z of root d. It is defined as a plus b root d, where a comma b belongs to z. That is, norm of x plus y root d is equal to x minus y root d into x plus y root d, that is equal to x square minus dy square. So, one can verify that this norm is indeed a multiplicative, that is norm of x plus root d into y into u plus root d into v is equal to norm of x plus root dy into norm of plus root d into v. 1 is equal to norm of x plus root dy into u plus root dv, which is equal to norm of xu plus dyv plus root d into xv plus yu. Therefore, xu plus dyv comma xv plus yu is also a solution of Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. Similarly, one can use norm of x minus root dy into u plus root dv is equal to 1 to verify that xu minus dyv comma xv minus uv is also solution of the Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. So, Pell's equation has infinite number of solutions. So, previous slide also showing the same, and we will show now. Moreover, we also see that if alpha is equal to x naught plus y naught root d is a solution of Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1, then for any n belongs to n, the number alpha power n is equal to x naught plus y naught into root d power n, which is equal to, let us call that as xn plus yn root d. For example, in the previous part x2 y2 is equal to x naught square plus dy naught square comma 2 x naught y naught. is also a solution of the Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. That means, if alpha is a solution, then alpha power n is also a solution. Therefore, if a Pell's equation once x square minus dy square equal to 1 has a solution, non-trivial solution, then it has infinite number of solutions. So, the theorem states that if we have two Pell's equation, then we can produce solutions to other Pell's equation. That is, let x1 y1 be an arbitrary integral solution of x square minus dy square equal to m, and x2 y2 an arbitrary solution of another Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to n. Then if you take uv as x1 x2 plus y1 y2 d comma x1 y2 plus x2 x1, then that uv is a solution of the Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to m into n. Further, if x1 y1 and x2 y2 are positive solutions, then uv is also a positive. So, this one is easy to verify, one can verify this. So, that is why we are skipping the proof. Now, now we are going to define what is a fundamental solution. Suppose a Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to n has a positive integral solutions, then the fundamental solution or the least positive solution is the positive solution x1 y1 such that x1 is less than or equal to u and y1 is less than or equal to v for every other positive solution u comma v. We are going to now give a table of few fundamental solutions of x square minus dy square equal to 1 for different values of d. This table shows that if d equal to 8 in the equation x square minus dy square equal to 1, then one can check that x equal to 3, y equal to 1 is a solution. Not only that, it is the smallest solution, every other solution is greater than these values. So, this is 3 1 is a fundamental solution. For if d equal to 10, then it is the fundamental solution is 19 comma 6. If you look at the table carefully, then for some values of d, the fundamental solution is very large. For example, if you look at for the 12, the fundamental solution is 72, whereas for 13 it is 249 and 180, whereas immediately for 14 it is 15 and 4. Similarly, for 61, 109 and 149, the fundamental solution is very large. In particular, in this table, if you look at for 109, the fundamental solution is very large. So, that is why the problem is very interesting and difficult. Now, we are going to solve one particular equation, Pell's equation, where here d value is equal to 3. So, x square minus 3y square equal to 1. It can be easily verified that first few values of y for which 1 plus 3y square is a square, that is finding a solution to x square minus 3y square equal to 1 is same as x square equal to 1 plus 3y square, that is for what values of y 1 plus 3y square is a square. It is easy to see that y for y equal to 0, y equal to 1 and y equal to 4, we will see that 1 plus 3y square is a square. So, the corresponding solutions are x comma y is equal to 1 0, 2 1 and 7 4. It is verified that 7 plus 4 root 3 is equal to 2 plus root 3 whole square. That means that 7 comma 4 is obtained from 2 comma 1. So, in general we can see that Sn Tn is equal to 2 plus root 3 whole power n for some n belongs to n. We see that Sn plus 1, Tn plus 1 other solutions can be derived like by multiplying Sn Tn by a matrix 2 3 and 1 2. The equation x square minus 3y square equal to minus 1 has no integer solutions. Though this is not a Pell's equation, it is like a Pell type equation. In the Pell's equation we see that x square minus dy square equal to 1, here we have minus 1. So, it is called a Pell type equation. So this has no integer solution. As existence of solution say a comma b implies that a square minus 3b square equal to minus 1, that is, which in turn implies that a square is congruent to 2 mod 3, which is a contradiction. In 1766, Lagrange proved that the equation x square is equal to dy square plus 1 has infinite number of solutions whenever d is positive, not a square of an integer. We observed that many real world problems ends up in solving Pell's equation. Pell's equation is also used to find units of a ring of integers in a quadratic number fields like Gaussian integers. Geometrically, solving Pell's equation is same as finding integer lattice points on a hyperbola. Now we are looking for a method which gives solutions of Pell's equation. Now we look for solutions of Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1. One of the method is to find rational approximations to root d. Let us see why this is so. The equation x square minus dy square equal to 1 can be written as x minus root d into y into x plus root d into y is equal to 1. That is, x minus root d into y is equal to 1 by x plus root d into y, or equivalently if you divide throughout the entire equation by y, then x by y minus root d modulus is equal to 1 by y into modulus of x plus root d into y. For large positive integers x and y, the fraction x by y converges to root d. So finding rational approximation to root d is an alternative way to look for solution of Pell's equation. One of the most popular method for finding rational approximation to real numbers is continued fractions. Before defining continued fraction, we will see an example. Assume one tries to solve the quadratic equation x square minus 5x minus 1 by writing x equal to 5 plus 1 by x, and then x is equal to 5 plus 1 by x is equal to 5 plus 1 by, that x again can be written as 5 plus 1 by x. So that is again equal to 5 plus 1 by 5 plus 1 by x, again we will replace by 5 plus 1 by x, and so on it will continue. So x is equal to, we have 5 plus 1 by 5 plus and so on. So we got a interesting fraction. So above fraction gives the following sequence: 5 comma 5 plus 1 by 5 comma 5 plus 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5 and so on. These numbers when converted into fractions, we will get 5 comma 26 by 5 comma 135 by 26 comma and so on. That is, their decimal values are 5, 5.2, 5.19231 and so on. So one can check that these numbers converges to positive root of x square minus 5x minus 1, which is x equal to 5 plus root 29 by 2, which is equal to 5.19258 when rounded. Fractions in the equation 1 are called continued fractions. So we are defining what is a continued fraction. A fraction of the form a0 plus 1 by a1 plus 1 by a2 plus 1 by and so on is called a finite continued fraction. Once we terminated at 1 by an, so it is called a finite continued fraction, where a0, a1 and so on an are real numbers, and also a1, a2 and so on an are positive, whereas a0 may be negative, except a0, a1, a2 and so on remaining all are considered positive. The numbers a1, a2 and so on an are called partial denominators. Such a fraction is called simple if all a's are integers, all a belongs to z. We denote the continued fraction in the equation 3 by a0 with semicolon, a1, a2 and so on an. This is a representation for the continued fraction. If the continued fraction is infinite, then we will an comma dot dot will use. So, finite continued fractions, few results on finite continued fractions. One can prove easily by induction the every finite simple continued fraction represents a rational number. The converse can also be proved, that can be proved by using Euclidean algorithm. Every rational number can be represented by finite simple continued fraction. Convergent of a continued fraction. By truncating the continued fraction of x equal to a naught, a1, a2 and so on an at various plus signs, we will get a sequence Ck, k from 1 to n, where c naught equal to a naught, c1 equal to a naught plus 1 by a1 and so on, cn is equal to a naught, a1, a2 up to an. The kth term of the sequence, that is Ck is equal to a naught, a1, a2 and so on ak, is called kth convergent of the continued fraction a naught, a1, a2 up to an. So, properties of the convergence. It is easy to check that the value of infinite continued fraction is an irrational number. Hence, convergents are very useful when the continued fraction is infinite, and they are the nice approximations to the real number which represent such an infinite continued fraction. The following are few properties of convergence of a continued fraction, whether it is a finite or infinite. The convergence with even subscripts form a strictly increasing sequence. The convergence with odd subscripts form a strictly decreasing sequence. Every convergent with odd subscript is greater than every convergent with an even subscript. All these properties can be shown in the following diagram. So, if you look at here, C0, C2, C4, C6, C8, convergence with even subscripts, they are increasing, and convergence with odd subscripts C1, C3, C5, they are decreasing, and they are all are converging to the same value, but here the odd convergents are always greater than the even convergents. Now, we state few results which establishes positive solution of Pell's equation or convergence of the continued fraction of root d. So, a theorem is that if x is an irrational number, if the rational number a by b where b greater than or equal to 1 and GCD of a comma b equal to 1 satisfies x minus a by b is less than 1 by 2 b square, then a by b is one of the convergent Cn in the continued fraction of x. So, the theorem, let p comma q be a positive solution of x square minus dy square equal to 1, then p by q is a convergent of the continued fraction expansion of root d. This is a nice theorem. What it says is the positive solution of Pell's equation x square minus dy square equal to 1 is, if I take the ratio of those p and q, then it is going to be convergent of the continued fraction of root d. The proof goes like this: since p square minus dy square equal to 1, we have p minus root d into q into p plus root d into q equal to 1. So, further pq is a positive solution, hence p is greater than q root d, and p by q minus root d is equal to 1 by q into p plus root d into q. Thus, 0 is less than p by q minus root d is less than root d by q times p plus root d into q, which is less than root d by q into root d q plus root d into q, which is equal to 1 by 2 q square. Hence, from previous result, p by q is a convergent of the continued fraction expansion of root d. The converse is also true. The converse says that if p by q is a convergent of the continued fraction of root d, then x equal to p and y equal to q is a solution of one of the equation x square minus dy square equal to k, where mod k is less than 1 plus 2 root d, and one can show that this k value can be taken to 1 also, with the suitable substitutions. So, it says that the convergence of root d are going to give solutions of Pell's equation, and the solutions of Pell's equations are going to be convergence of the continued fraction expansion of root d. Finding rational approximations to root d is an alternative way for finding solutions of Pell's equation. One of the popular method for finding rational approximations to real numbers is a continued fractions. Now, another popular method for finding or showing existence of solutions of Pell's equation is, which we not discussed in this method, is Dirichlet's theorem, which says that for a irrational number x, there exist infinite number of rational numbers p by q such that modulus of x minus p by q is less than 1 by q square. With this we end this module as well as this chapter. Also observe that with this we completed the first part of this paper, that is number theory. From the next module onwards we are going to continue with the second part of this paper, that is related to graph theory.